What's up, guys? So here for my debut video, I'm going to make an actual welcome video, kind of going over what my goal with this channel is. But this video in particular is easy for me to make. So I'm going to talk about how I got hired as a personal trainer at a big box gym. It's not one of the really well-known ones. I'm not going to give the name, but anyway, I'm just going to detail what I did, like how I went about it, the way I communicated with this establishment, and just detail that process a little bit. So obviously step number one is getting one of the major certifications. If you're in the United States, that's going to be NASM, ISSA, and NCS. There's like four of them. I forgot the other two. But anyway, sign up for one of those, study and pass it, obviously. And then I got really lucky because I got hired by the first gym that I applied to. I actually applied to them as I was walking out of the certification test. It's 5 minutes from my house. They happen to be urgently hiring, so full disclosure, they were urgently hiring, so that worked in my favor. But I applied there on Indeed. And so in my resume, I have a little summary section where I kind of detailed, I've been playing sports for this long. I played soccer in college. I have sales experience. I'm comfortable with self-promotion, that kind of thing. Put out my application. So that was probably something that worked in my favor. I did roofing sales for a couple months. I had a leadership position at a grocery store. I don't even know how closely this guy looked at my resume, but all that stuff was on it. And then one of the things, if you take NASM, they tell you to like send a note or an email or a letter, like a thank you letter for the after the interview. And I was kind of even thinking like a step beyond that. I sent them a message, and on Indeed you're able to send employers messages. So after I applied, I had that little summary section in my resume. After I applied, I think the next day I sent them a message, kind of saying like, hey, I'm excited to be a trainer. Now that I've passed the certification, I've been trying to switch gears and start studying, programming and how to actually, train people, because, you learn a lot of good information in the certification, but not necessarily, you don't really go into training and programming in depth. So I put that out there, and a couple weeks later, it was the holidays, so they were busy, but a couple weeks later, they sent me a message, invited me for an interview, and scheduled that. And I'm going to tell you, so I prepared for this interview. I wrote out strengths, weaknesses, questions, and why I want to work at this particular gym. So I didn't even, I'll mention some of them here, but I wasn't even asked about my strengths and weaknesses. It was more, they asked about what my training experience was, which was nothing. But I tried to advocate for myself. I'm an Eagle Scout. When I was in Boy Scouts, I was troop guide, which is the person in charge of teaching new skills to the newer scouts. I've been a leader and a captain in the sports teams that I've played on, that kind of thing. I genuinely enjoy kind of helping people. I made the point that I'm in this for the right reason. Like I'm not really that interested in training athletes and bodybuilders. And in all likelihood, the majority of the clients that you're going to have at a big box gym are going to be like older folks, like people that have trouble motivating themselves. Like you're not, unless you get experience and get good at what you're doing, you're not going to be training like, super athletes and that kind of thing. It's going to be regular people. And that's genuinely my ideal client, at least at this point. So, I communicated that during the interview. So, some of the strengths, and like, I guess I kind of talked about some of these in the interview, but not necessarily as strengths and weaknesses. I'm stimulated by problem solving, dedicated to team members, like when I'm working, anywhere. I'm satisfied by the learning process. I'm nerdy about, anatomy, exercise science, supplementation, that kind of thing. Programming, which I mentioned in my message. I like spreading positive energy, and I just want to help people. So I talk about some of those things, not necessarily specifically as strengths. Um, didn't get into the weaknesses at all. So I guess those are, I guess I put I'm susceptible to self doubt. I'm a single dad, so my schedule is a bit of an issue. Actually, I did talk about that. Um, you know, and the questions that I wrote down, which are actually a lot of them he answered before I asked them. What's the sales process like? Do trainees ever get assigned, or is it 100% the trainer's responsibility? Do trainers ever work multiple locations? Because this particular gym, it's a corporate gym, but it's smaller, but they have multiple locations. So I asked about that. Um, how do you train newly certified personal trainers? Which he answered, like they have I'm going to be shadowing a trainer when I start. Employee benefits, after hours training, because they're open 24 hours. Are after hours sessions a thing? Do you guys use training apps for clients? So I actually got to ask that question. They use Trainerize. They're not required to, but they have a partnership with it and it's available. And I actually didn't. Do you have people? Did you have people quit, or are you guys growing, or both? Because I was going to ask that, because the job posting said that they were urgently hiring, but I decided against it. The interview was kind of running long. And this was actually why this particular gym, this was actually the first stuff that I started talking about. And that was actually one of the first questions that he asked me. The first two questions that he asked me were, what's your experience? And then I talked about what I just told you guys about, and why us. So, and I was honest, and I genuinely wanted this particular job because of the location. Is right near me. Childcare, they have like a daycare kind of thing that clients, gym members can bring their kids to if they want to go to the gym and they don't have a babysitter kind of thing. It's also available to the trainers during the hours that it's open. So that was a factor for me. It's a corporate gym, which is a good starting point for a personal trainer, but they're small. So I mentioned that I like, a corporate gym is a good place to start, but you guys are a smaller corporate gym, and I like that. They have trainer. I looked up the website. They have trainer bios. On it's like a little paragraph that I'm gonna have to write about myself, and they have a picture and tell a little bit about yourself and your ideal client and what you're knowledgeable about. So I thought that was pretty cool, because it seems like they value the personal relationship that they have with their gym members and the clients. I mentioned it seemed like I never was a member there, but I've been in there a couple times, and it seems like a nice place. They kind of update it sometimes. Like they used to have a cardio theater with like a big movie screen, and then they changed it to something else. And so I said that it's cool. You guys like to you're getting creative. You like to evolve. And also I looked them up on Google, checked some of their reviews, and most of their reviews were like 5 stars. There were only a couple 1-star reviews, a couple negative reviews, and the owner responded to them and was like, hey, like, we checked our records, you've never been a member, so like, what's going on? There were a couple of those, one or two of them were legitimate that I found, and they tried to rectify the situation, but like overwhelmingly this place had good reviews. So I talked about all that, and that's everything that I just mentioned. That's the bulk of what we talked about in my interview. It seemed like my availability and like the single dad situation was something that he had to think about, so he didn't hire me on the spot. I got the sense that like he really, really wanted to hire me, and that maybe he had to clear it with one of the higher ups or something, because he seemed like he really liked me, and he even kind of stopped himself from saying like, I'm excited to have you work here. Like he kind of stuttered over his words, and he's like, you'll hear from me like by 5 o'clock. And actually it took a few days, and I thought that I didn't get the job, but then yesterday they sent me a message on Indeed saying that he extended me the offer, come in this week to fill out some paperwork, which I just got back from. I'm starting the onboarding process, and I'm probably going to start this week. So there you have it. I just wanted to document and share all this stuff for anybody that's trying to start their own journey as a personal trainer. I'm going to make another video detailing what I did specifically to pass the NASM CPT, pass the exam. The majority of the content on this video, on this channel, is going to be just like exercise, wellness, motivation kind of stuff. It's not going to be specifically for personal trainers, but there's probably going to be some of that too. But anyway, like I said, this video is going longer than I wanted it to. I just wanted to document, try to help. This channel is going to be about helping people. So hopefully if, what I just shared, hopefully it'll help you. Any questions, shoot me a message or a comment, put a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer. I'm very busy these days, but I hope this helped. Keep working, whatever. If you're trying to be a personal trainer, keep putting one foot in front of the next. Keep studying. Keep trying to put your best foot forward. And if you're smart and you're doing it for the right reasons, there's no reason why you can't do it.